quite a few updates, but we're going to be starting with the grants program launch from John. I, Lorny, yours truly, your community manager here, will be giving some community updates. Then we'll be hearing some updates from Wallet, from Andre. We have a really cool, exciting announcement from Lucas. And then last but definitely not least, our SafeDAO Governance updates from Andre and Stephen as well. Let me just see if I can, there we go. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to kick it off with John with grants updates. Here we go. Let's see.
Thank you, Lorny. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Perfect. Hey, everyone. I'm John. I'm primarily working on ecosystem stuff here at Safe, but I'll also be part of the reviewers on our Grants Council, one of 5 reviewers for the Grants Council that's up and coming. Actually, not even up and coming, it's live now, which is the update that I want to provide. Essentially, like going live today, we just went live with applications for Safe Grants program, meaning applicants can now finally actually apply for a Safe grant. And you can also, which is actually our tool that we launched to manage this whole grant funding application process and evaluation. So if anybody would like to learn more, they can follow the link here on the tiny URL, or also the QR code here, which links to our Charmverse, allows you to sign into Charmverse, find out more about the process that we're doing for grants, as well as find out more about who the council is, me and 4 others, as well as find out about how to apply for a grant specifically and get funded by Safe Grants. Just to quickly cover a little bit about the process, our application period is 3 weeks long. So applicants have 3 weeks to get their submissions in to the best of their capability. During this 3-week period, we'll also have the Grants Council also provide feedback and comments in order for the applicants to essentially refine their proposal and get it into its best form for a correct evaluation, a correct decision. So throughout this period, essentially you'll see applications come through on Charmverse, but you'll also see our council providing feedback, trying to refine the proposal. And then by the 6th of September, we close applications. The application window is closed, and that kicks off our next stage of grants, which is the evaluation decision period, which is another 3-week window. And that's where we have our Grants Council, diving deep into each proposal and comparing it and contrasting it with other grant applications, filling out a success rubric, which you'll be able to find within Charmverse, which is kind of our way of scoring grants and providing an indication as to which grants should be funded and which grants should not. And yeah, that's really the 3-week decision period, we call it. So ultimately, by the end of September, start of October, we'll have the decisions made. We'll put the decision funding of grants, as well as a milestone review, all the way through wave 1, wave 1 is kind of scheduled to continue all the way until the end of January. So that is the process. A little bit more about what we're funding. We're funding the Safe ecosystem, building out the Safe ecosystem and accelerating the adoption of smart accounts. The smart accounts transition is one of Vitalik's 3 transitions that he has been proposing for the EVM community, and definitely Safe Grants has a part to play for the transition to smart accounts. We'll be funding, we have 4 categories. We have build for builder grants, we have growth for existing projects that want to bootstrap the Safe ecosystem or grow the Safe ecosystem. We've got a research category for research grants, and we've got a govern grant category for improving our governance experience with SafeDAO. TLDR, we're funding the underlying ecosystem. We're going to be funding the new Safe protocol, which is launched this week. We'll be funding essential tooling, new apps being developed on top of Safe, and community initiatives. We do have 500K only for this wave 1. So there is going to be a prioritization decision to be made with the whole council, but we want to fund, the best projects spanning across those categories, and we'll do that to the best of our ability for the council. I'll finish on that now. If anybody has any questions around the program, the best place is to actually go into our forum, forum.safe.global, and we have a grants category for asking specific grants, where we can answer them, and we can then, also, chat about different ways to improve or different ways for feedback. On Charmverse is also another place for applicants specifically. Charmverse is where all the applications and all the feedback around applications kick off. So just questions around the process can be routed to the forum, but all the application specifics will be in Charmverse. We're also going to be launching grants office hours. So next week, we'll actually have the council, be available for office hours to discuss proposals, to discuss the process, and answer any questions. So we'll be essentially communicating that on Twitter as well as on the forum as well. So keep an eye out for that in terms of when we're launching the office hours, but it'll be next week, and we'll share all that admin stuff within the forum and Twitter. That's it from me. Thanks everyone for listening.
All right, perfect. So basically, I wanted to show you the latest update on the Safe Wallet web application, namely. So the big change is the enablement of the batch transactions. Batch transactions effectively means that you can execute transactions in a bulk, in a batch. So first of all, let's quickly review. So what can be added into a batch can be sending tokens, sending NFTs, and application interactions. So let's quickly create a batch and see how it works. So for instance, I can go to Balancer and create like some simple swap. Let it load for a second. Okay. It could be arbitrary, actually, app interaction. That's the. So instead of just signing this one, so the new button that we got here is the add to batch. So I've just added this one to the batch. And let's see what's there. So we have this batch icon here at the top, and we got this balancer swap transaction here. So let's just add some more. Let's add some just simple token transactions. For instance, we want to send one Matic to this address. And we also adding this one to the batch. And now if we go back, we see already 2 transactions in the batch. The nice thing about that is like I can easily remove this without any additional like signing or whatever. So this is think of it as a draft. So normally if you propose, if the transaction is already in the queue, you will have to reject it, and this is an on-chain action. So while you are composing a batch, you can add transactions or remove transactions as you like. So you can, I've just removed one, and then I'm bringing another transaction back, and it's all done off-chain without any signature actions or whatever. Now, let's just quickly confirm a batch. So I'm signing a batch, and we see the batch transaction details here. You can see whatever you like to see here. And then you just execute. The real world example, so whatever I've just shown was to show you that you can combine different types of transactions. But in real life, like the real use cases we see would be, for instance, reward distribution. Let's say you have some balance, some tokens to distribute between like 100 wallets. And instead of manually sending, you can literally just add all of them to the batch and create this bulk transaction and execute it as one. So whenever you execute, the nice thing about that is it's also cheaper to execute like a bulk of transactions than executing them one by one. So let's just see this bulk completed to actually make sure that it works. Okay, not to make you wait, I will show you some other feature, which is more like a fun feature to play with. I encourage you all to just get to your safes and see that you can change these safe avatars into emojis. So as you can see, you can change it like this. That's just more like a fun feature, but another point of having this is can increase visibility, so you can easily like relate your safes to some image. These are so I mean you cannot choose what emoji will be chosen for the avatar. So this is some sort of a so they are deterministically created based on your wallet, and you cannot change them. But you can, if you don't like them, you can just switch them off and enjoy the original overview how they look like. So so the transaction we just getting back to the batch, it's executed and being indexed. But basically, you have seen how the functionality works. So okay, now it's being completely executed. So feel free to explore the functionality and get back with questions. And we're always open to suggestions. We are already like evaluating the user experience here and considering some improvements. But we're also always happy to to hear stuff from our community how we can improve these functionalities. So please feel free to reach out to the team. And thanks for the opportunity to make this demo.
Here we go. Everyone, just quickly want to give some input on SafeCore protocol. A few of you might have seen the announcement yesterday that we published a white paper for the SafeCore protocol. And I just want to take the advantage here to share a bit about the context, why we're doing that, what it's all about. In the end, I highly recommend reading through the white paper because it's not like a 100-page, very technical white paper. It's like 7 or 8 pages long. It's semi-technical, so everyone should be able to get through it quite quickly, and it should be quite understandable by itself. But just to give some more flavor to it, in the end, what the project is all about is making modular smart accounts feasible, and the reason there is really that we don't believe monolithical smart accounts are viable for Ethereum's future. It's a little bit like an old mobile phone, which has all its functions hard-coded as hardware or as buttons, and that's not very flexible. Like you rather want to have a smartphone where you just have a screen to start with, but then you add functionality through going into the App Store and like downloading apps that then expand what your smartphone can do. And we think in a similar way about smart accounts, where it's nice that you can have a multi-sig smart account. It's nice that you can have like a gaming optimized smart account that has some session key functionality, or maybe a smart account that's more has some hierarchical structures that's useful for DAOs. But in the end, you want to have something that's actually flexible, where maybe you start with one functionality, but then over time, as you progress on your Web3 journey, you want to add additional logic to your account. You might start with a single sig, then go multi-sig, and then go completely DAO, or have like suddenly you start actually playing these Web3 games, and then you need to have this session key functionality, but you don't want to like switch all your assets to another account. Like you want to have this flexibility, and it also plays together with composability, so that we can build these features in a way that they're not hard-coded into individual smart accounts, but they can actually be exchanged between different accounts. And yeah, we have this composability, which makes Web3 cool at the end. It's like you can piece together different DeFi protocols. The same way should happen for smart accounts. And we see this SafeCore protocol that we announced as essentially the third evolution of the Safe project, to going into this vision of having interoperability in smart accounts and making them like really modular. So we started off obviously with multi-sig being a very monolithic smart accounts, the old Gnosis multisig, which did some things really great, but also was limited in its functionality. We then progressed to what we now know as the Safe Smart Account, which is a general purpose smart account. It's much more gas efficient, so it's also viable for different user groups, not just bigger teams and treasuries. It's also flexible in the way that it can expand its logic through modules and fallback handlers and other ways. And it has been enabled us to create this ecosystem of many projects building on the same smart accounts, some building tools for NFT collectors, other building gaming infrastructure. Again, others are building more social applications that leverage the Safe Smart account. And now with the third evolution, we really want to take it a step further in terms of like modularity and overall interoperability of smart accounts, but also add another element which is critical to when you can have these extensions. You need to make sure that these are secure and people trust adding these extensions, that there's some security properties inherent to how these smart accounts work. So just very quickly, the architecture of this protocol. So what we do is we expand accounts, so the smart accounts, with what we call a manager. So this is a separate smart contract which actually abstracts away all the modularity and like some other things like the permissioning of modules, and yeah, also can be a security abstraction, but it's like expanding some of these elements that make up the Safe Smart account right now into a separate contract, and then actually allows also to have other account implementations integrate with that. So obviously, like also the initial version is very much focused on making it work well with the Safe Smart accounts, but the vision here is really that long term you can have your Biconomy smart account, your Argent smart account, like Sequence, what have you, also be interoperable with this manager and plug into the same ecosystem, into the same standards and modularity. So the manager really orchestrates this functionality extension, and then you have the modules, which are really the Lego pieces that you can then add to your account. So we have plugins, hooks, function handlers, and signature validators. Plugins, they expand, like they add additional entry points for transactions. That's a technical term, but in the end, it's like if you want to have additional functionality for your safe, such as a recovery scheme or a session key implementation or spending limits, that's where you use a plugin for. So additional ways how transactions can be triggered on the account. Hooks then are obviously similar to Uniswap hooks as well, like we called them guards in the prior system, but we also want to align on terminology here. So hooks, they plug into the transaction lifecycle. So whenever your account does a transaction, before or after, you can have additional logic that either checks certain things in the transaction or executes certain additional logic. So it's just another way to expand the account, such as doing like checking if you interact with a certain smart contract that is on a allow list, and you don't want your account to interact with just any smart contract, but only with ones that are verified or something like this. And then function handlers allow you to expand how the account reacts to arbitrary function calls, and then signature validators essentially allow you to have like more advanced signature schemes that leverage ERP 1271 signatures and can do something like the cow swap TWAP feature that recently was announced. And these are like some of the module types, but over time this can be expanded. And then what's really new now in this protocol, which hasn't existed at all before, is the concept of registries. So what's that? It's essentially, you can imagine them being like marketplaces or app stores that verify different modules. So essentially they're like a list of modules or like plugins, hooks, etc., that have certain that are just verified within the context of this registry. This can be a curation verification. So it's just a registry that only exposes DAO-related modules. It can be security curation, so a registry that checks that all modules have an audit connected to them, or it can be more like a trust-based system. Like I just trust this team or this DAO to verify all the modules. But it can also be something that's like a registry that's wallet specific. So you have maybe a smart wallet, and you want that users only like activate modules that are actually exposed as features within your wallet. So they cannot just arbitrarily create, like add new modules that then aren't really exposed in the UI. So there can also be some registries like this. And the interesting thing about this protocol is that it's really agnostic towards each of these sites. So it supports any kind of modules, any kinds of registries, and any kinds of account implementation. At least over time, like initial versions might have still some opinionated pieces, but that allows it to be really this interoperability layer for smart accounts, which then allows us to also enforce certain smart account standards, be it ERC 6900 or having more directly integrated ERC 4337 within that system. So it's just something that allows us then to come together as an ecosystem and guarantee interoperability, in the smart account ecosystem. So just a few like challenges that this addresses. It's obviously fragmentation. Like even though like modularity expands like the flexibility of accounts, if we now have 10 different smart account implementation and they all choose to have their own modular system, as a developer, you then have to decide what smart account you're actually developing your modules for. As a user, you can also not benefit from modules that are created for other smart accounts, and tooling that builds on for smart account ecosystem also has to decide where to focus on. So this protocol allows to reduce fragmentation or alleviate fragmentation, but also vendor lock-in. So we don't want to see that now every wallet, be it MetaMask, Trust, etc., starts having their own very custom smart account implementation, and suddenly you cannot switch from your MetaMask account to your MetaMask wallet to your Trust wallet anymore, which is what was really cool about EOAs. They're like an accepted standard. You can generate a seed phrase in one wallet and use it within a different wallet. We need to maintain this vendor agnostic property of accounts. And finally, security. We cannot go into a direction where we have smart accounts being hacked on a weekly basis, the same way we have DeFi protocols or bridges being hacked, because that's what immediately have the wider like user base lose trust in putting their assets on a smart account. So we need to have these tools to really have these strong security properties within the ecosystem, and the registries allow this by just being this toolkit for people to provide these very curated modules that then give the adequate security guarantees. So again, this was really just a high level intro. I really urge you to read through the white paper. We've just getting started with the SafeDAO protocol. We wanted to like expose it as soon as possible to the community, because we want to build this in public. We want to have community feedback as early as possible. Of course, for the technical implementation and the overall architecture, but also I think what will be later on in this community call as well. There may be also some interesting pathways for the Safe token to have additional utility within the SafeDAO protocol, and we want to explore this together with the community. So make sure to get engaged, let us know what you think, and yeah, excited to see people starting to tinker around with it.
All right, I hope everybody can see that. So at SafeDAO, we have a few updates, starting with a proposal that has been executed recently, or that is just being executed right now. It's SEP5, where we decided on taking half of the unredeemed token from the initial user airdrop and to redistributed to those that have redeemed their airdrop in the first place. The redemption period started on July 27th. It's open for 3 months until October 27th. And yeah, we're just getting started. So you see also underneath there in the graphs that a lot of token have been claimed at the beginning on the like 2 days after the redemption period started. Then it started to go down again. But overall, 15% of the tokens have been claimed so far, and around 24-25% of wallets have claimed. So there's still quite some time until October 27th. But if you're on the call and you haven't redeemed your token and you're eligible because you did claim your initial user airdrop, go ahead and claim your user airdrop. If you do know of other safe users that you know have claimed in the past, let them know. We'll also be notifying more on our Twitter, on the forum, and working together with others to get the message out. And yes, how to claim them. Check out the forum. There's a link here, which we might be able to share in the chat. Make sure to only follow official links and not to click on any links that are not coming from official sources. Then going over to current proposals. So until yesterday, the governance framework was in phase 0. We did get a bunch of comments, a lot of high quality feedback. I think overall was like over 100 comments and over 50 distinct feedback topics that we aggregated, that we worked into the revised version of the governance framework. And yesterday we pushed it then to phase 1. Please also, if you're interested in the governance framework and how we're making decisions at SafeDAO in the future, have a look at the most recent forum post. There is there's a revised version as a Google Doc, just like we had in phase 0. We can go ahead and comment, put suggestions in. We also have a list of all the feedback where we show if we implemented it or if we not implemented, why we didn't or why we didn't at this stage. And just for transparency, we also have a compare version. You can see all of the changes that happened between phase 0 and phase 1. And phase 1 is the stage that comes before going to a voting period. So now is really the time to dive into, give feedback. If you notice anything where you think that this is problematic, or if your feedback hasn't been addressed, but you see that this should be addressed right now and not in future versions of our governance cycle, please go ahead and comment in the forum or directly on the Google Doc. Yes, looking forward to that. Going to the next slide and handing over to Stephen, who recently joined us as protocol designer, and just waiting for a moment until he turns on his mic.
Perfect. Hey, everyone. Yeah, thanks. Perfect. You're still sharing. Great. Yeah, as said, right. So I'm Stephen. I joined the Safe team last month as protocol designer, so I'll be quite involved in the Safe token and so. Very excited with this, of course, and I also really look forward to interact with all of you when it comes to the Safe token or anything else Safe related, right? So with the intro out of the way, let me quickly I'll give you a brief update on the Safe token, what's going on there. It's a brief update, but basically currently we're actually exploring utilities for the Safe token, and we also want to involve the community in this discovery phase. So specifically, we basically want to create awareness of a call for input that we put out yesterday for the community. It's on the Safe forum. So we're actually asking the community to brainstorm together on ideas for a token utility. And it's important to have in mind the vision that's laid out in the white paper that Lucas just summarized. So really looking for ideas for Safe token, how it can really support the goals of this of the protocol. And then also, of course, taking into consideration other things such as the SafeDAO constitution, what's laid out there and so on. So the idea is basically that we will aggregate and process all the inputs we're gathering from the community, and then it will be used as an input to shape the SCP on token utility. And as we all know, this is one of the milestones that need to be achieved to enable token transferability, right? So this is decided under SCP 3. So that's ultimately the end goal of this process. So for all the details, we invite you to go to the forum post. The link is also provided here in the slide deck. It has all the information on how to go about it, also the necessary links to prepare, such as the white paper and so on, and also gives a bit of guidelines, how potentially best to structure it in terms of like how to go about it, right? So we're really looking forward to all the submissions, which can be posted all on the forum, so everybody can basically access it. We'll be moderating and facilitating the discussion there. And yeah, as I said, really looking forward to the ideas that are coming in. And of course, if there's any questions or any other points to raise, the best place to be is actually in the specific forum post. And that's it from my side.
Great. Thank you very much, Stephen. Just last slide to wrap up the SafeDAO section of this community call. Yes, please to stay up to date with SafeDAO, best is to follow the Safe Governance channel on X or Twitter or X, how we call it now. We also have a specific governance channel on Discord, as well as this course sends out email summaries. And if you want to be notified when proposals go up on Snapshot, enable notifications there. And thanks everyone for your attention. I'll stop sharing my screen and see if Lorny has audio backup.
Okay, so for those that may have seen some announcements here, just remember that SafeCon is happening in Berlin in September. So if you're planning on going to DAppCon, and if you're not, you should pop by a day earlier before to come to SafeCon. We have a lot of really amazing talks and workshops and builder sessions coming for anything and all things related to account abstraction. So to register, just go to Luma or lu.ma/SafeCon. And if you're a speaker and you want to apply to speak, please ping me here or in any of our social channels on Discord or Telegram. And I can send you the speaker application as well if you're one of our builders or a guardian or an ecosystem project. Okay, next, Andre. So we have a community survey that we've been running for the last 10 days or so, and we're doing a final push. Again, if you have ideas, if you have qualms, or if you have questions, we want to hear it all. So please, again, like if you have inputs for maybe some ambassadors program, I'm hearing a lot of that, or ideas for like hackathons or projects we can partner with, please fill this out, let me know. Again, in normal community call fashion, like the link, there's a link tree at the end of this that we will submit for with all of the links here presented in our community call. So without further ado, yes, that's the one. This is the one. I'm going to open it up now for questions. Does anyone have any questions here for any of our speakers? Let me see if I can turn video on. Thank you for showing up, and we're so excited for all that's to come, and we look forward to seeing your grant applications, seeing you at SafeCon, and seeing your comments on the white paper and on the forum for governance. Thanks, everyone. Take care.